All right, so this evening I am going to be showing you how you can earn at least 2,940,000 naira in net rental income every year. We call this the 5-year rental income plan. But first of all, I'll do a brief introduction, of myself. So my name is Olisa Omera. I am the CEO of Symbolic Development Limited, um, a growing real estate company in Lagos, Nigeria. We have some of our our properties in the Ekpe axis of Lagos State, and we also have some other projects coming up in the Lekki Aja axis of Lagos State. Yes, but that's not the story. So uh, the question most people ask me is, why do you do what you do? Why are you passionate about, some of these products, some of these projects? Oh wow. Um, Let the light just come back on, please. Just spare me a few minutes, a few seconds. I don't know. Yes, I'm back. So why do you do this? And I was thinking, and I was able to draw it back to when I was a boy. Sometime before I was 5 years old. You know, um, I grew up not having access to a wealthy family, not having access to a rich family. However, when I was a boy, my father was rich. He had money. He was a pilot, you know, and basically we had everything we wanted. But at some point, the private airline he had with his friend, they had just one aircraft, and that aircraft crashed. So basically, that business was gone, right? And then he tried to get into the shipping business, and then something happened, and that business was gone. So one thing I noticed that my dad did wrong was that he had one business. He had only one business, one source of income at every point in time. You know, I didn't realize this until I was old enough, mature enough to understand what the problem was. And then when I look around, I see what people do. People either work at a job and that's their source of income, or they run one business and that's their source of income, you know. And then when something happens to that source of income, that's the end. There's no more money, right? So I understood that this was a problem of cash flow. This was a problem of cash flow. So I decided to study the subject of cash flow. And then I stumbled upon the story of Femi Otedo, the Nigerian billionaire. Sometime in 2000 because he had a lot of cash flow. So what did he do? First, I heard he sold about 107 something apartments that he had. So these were properties that were giving him cash flow, right? He sold them. Then I guess he said he was the highest shareholder in Transcorp. Then he sold his shares there. He sold his shares in the bank, and a whole lot of things that he did. But you see, in the end, he was able to bounce back. But the reason he was able to bounce back was because he had invested in a whole lot, and there was money that there were things he could liquidate to do what, to pay that um, debt he had. So not just did he invest in assets, he invested in cash flowing assets. I tell people all the time that your property is as good as its cash flow. And when I say cash flow, I'm talking about positive cash flow. So since when I decided to learn and understudy the subject of cash flow, I made a decision. I said I was not just going to build a business. I was not just going to get into real estate for the sake of selling properties. I was going to get into real estate for the sake of producing cash flowing properties. For the sake of producing cash flowing properties, I was going to create assets that would give me the kind of cash flow that I needed. And then not just that, I was going to help as many persons as possible taste the freedom of having cash flowing assets. And this presentation today is going to show you how you can own a property that would give you the kind of cash flow that you need. Now, it's not just enough to own a property. Owning property is one thing. Owning property that can give you good cash flow is another thing, and I'm going to show you how that works today. Now, besides my story, just for you to understand that, I know what I'm saying, first things first, I have been in the real estate business for about 5 years. I started real estate in 2016. I started selling real estate, for different companies. I started a YouTube channel called Lands and Houses TV on YouTube, yes, where I advise people, how to invest in real estate, how to avoid the pitfalls, the usual pitfalls in real estate. A whole lot, a whole lot. If you check me out on YouTube, you'll find it there. Then I also went ahead before starting Symbolic Development Limited to get a certificate in entrepreneurship management from the Pan Atlantic University here in Lagos, Nigeria. Yeah, so my first degree, my background is in chemical engineering. However, I felt, if I was going to take this real estate thing to a different level, then I needed, classroom knowledge, of real estate. And so I signed up for a master's degree, which I'm currently on, in real estate and finance at the University of Reading in England. So this is basically me in a nutshell. And one more thing about me is that, like I've told you, I'm a lover of cash flowing properties. So let's get straight to what we are here for today, since you know who I am already, and of course you know why you should listen to me. Yeah, so this is our outline for today's presentation. First, we'll look at how rental income works. Then we'll look at how to command more in rental income. So there are people who have properties and then they're always complaining about, their properties don't give them so much money, they don't make as much money as other people make from their properties. Yes, we are going to look at that. We are going to look at the single strategy, one strategy you can use to increase your rental income by 200% or more. I call it the short-let model. Then we'll look at why most short-let properties don't perform. And then we'll look at the 2.94 million naira per year cash cow. Yes, I call it the cash cow because it is actually what it is. So let's go straight to it. First of all, most of us know how rental income works already. You buy a house or you buy land and you build a house. Then when you're done with that, you put it for rent. After putting it for rent every year or every month, depending on how you have designed it, you receive rent. And then after some time, you have to renovate your property for your property to appreciate, and then when the area experiences some, increased development, your property also appreciates and then you can increase rent. It's quite a bit different in Lagos here, landlords increase rent anyhow they want. But that's basically how, the rental income works, and that's basically how you can increase rent. Now, the thing about it is, if your property does not appreciate, so let's say you leave your property, it's not, after a few years, the paint is fading, the roof is leaking and stuff like that, your property won't command as much rental income as other people's property. And so, you will not be able to increase your rent. That's why I said increase rent if your property appreciates. Now, that's how rental income works. Now let us look at the rental income scenarios in different places in Lagos, and then look at the rates of return for these different locations. So I've taken 5 locations: Ajah, Sangotedo, Chevron, Lekki, Magodo, Epe. and I've taken different types of houses, purchase price, rental income, and then I want you to look at this, the last column, the rate of return. From my presentation, you would see that the rate of return for any property is usually between 3%, 3.3, 3.5%, and around 6%. That's the average rate of return for properties. So if your property is doing very well, and for your property to be doing very well, then it has to be in some, what do we call it now? Some very developed locations like Lekki Phase 1, Ikate, you can see it here, Chevron, the Lekki axis, or maybe highbrow areas like Magodo, Now, these places have high development, and then they also have high population. So in these places, you can command, a high rates of return, a high rental income. Now, okay. Now, the question is, what else affects the rate of return on rental income? What else affects the rate of return on rental income? I'll look at that now. Okay. I think I didn't add that to my slide, but then let's talk about it. So there are basically two things that affect the rate of return on rental income. One is development, like I said before, and the second one is people. People. You see, when we say development, so let's look at Eco Atlantic, for instance. Eco Atlantic is basically the Lagos Beach that was filled. Lagos Beach that was sand filled. And then they provided all the infrastructure, roads, bridges. It's a city on its own. And you can count the number of towers in Eco Atlantic. But then the rental income for a 2-bedroom apartment at Eco Atlantic per night or per day, so to say, is a whole lot higher than the rental income per day in neighboring, what do you call it now, locations. Now, and that is not just because the place is developed. That is because Eco Atlantic is developed, and as well, they have found a way to bring people to that location. So it's not enough for an environment or for a location to be developed. The location also has to have people. So if there are not people who would rent the apartment, if there are not people who will stay in those apartments, and that's why even though we have high rates of return in areas like the Lekki axis and Magodo, and Ikoyi, you will still notice that there is a low occupancy rate compared to areas like Ajah, Shongotedu, Ikeja and the rest. And this is because there are more people who live in these other areas, than there are people who live in, Ikoyi and the rest. But let me not bore you with these numbers. Let me take you to how to command, rental income. Basically, this is the preamble before we get into the money part. So, how to command rental income? Like I said, how to command higher rental income. First, add more development you have in a location, the higher the rental income would be. The more development you have in the location, the higher the rental income would be. Let's look at when the Ajah Bridge was constructed. Already, first of all, we had lots of people moving towards the Ajah region because rental income was lower. People could live in Ajah, live in Shongotedu, and work in Lekki Phase 1 without paying the high rent that they would have paid in Lekki Phase 1. So when they fixed a few roads, when they brought ShopRite down to Shongotedu, when they constructed the bridge, more and more people kept coming that way. and apartments started to increase. The rental rate of apartments started to increase in that Ajah Shangotedo area. Another way is to find a way to bring in more people. See, no matter the kind of development we have, if there are no people, you will not be able to command high rental income. That's why a private beach resort far in Ibejuleki will be able to command 150,000 naira per night. 150,000 naira per night. First, because besides the development around the location, they also have the development within that space. That's one. Two, they have found a way to bring in more people. So let's say they have 12 rooms, for instance, and then they have 30 people asking for those 12 rooms on the same days. Guess what? Their demand is already higher than their supply. And so price will do what? Price would go up. Another thing is to add more features to your property. So a 4-bedroom duplex with a swimming pool will rent higher than a 4-bedroom duplex without a swimming pool. A 2-bedroom apartment in a complex where they have a gym and a swimming pool will rent higher than a 2-bedroom apartment in a compound where there's no gym, no swimming pool, right? And another thing is to keep your property new. So people have properties, put them on the rental market, and then after some time, they just don't care about that property. But then you see someone else who, after 4 years, he paints his property, he renovates the property, he makes the property new. Guess what? He will be able to increase his rent and command the rental income at that time when he renovated his property, compared to the guy who just left his property, lying fallow. And the fifth way to command higher rental income is to change your strategy. And when I say change your strategy, what we've always known is the buy a house, build a house, put it for rent, get rental income every year. Maybe after 25 years, 30 years, who knows, you will make back the money you used to buy the house. That is if we don't consider all the cost of repairs, management, and all those things that you've spent on the house. But the good thing, what people the solace people have is the fact that, okay, this property is mine, I can use it to take a loan, it's my asset and all that. But then the Airbnb model came, and people now saw that they could make a whole lot more. They could make a whole lot more on their property without waiting 20, 25, 30 years. And that leads me to the shortlet model. I call this the single strategy you can use to increase your rental income by 200% or more. And trust me, when I say 200%, I'm being modest. I'm looking at the worst case scenario, because let's look at it. For instance, a 4-bedroom duplex can rent for, say, 3.5 to 5.5 million naira in a year, somewhere around Chevron, right? But if you put that same 4-bedroom duplex on the shortlet market, and I'm going to explain how that works now. If you put that 4-bedroom duplex on the shortlet market and you decide that, okay, I just want this thing for parties alone, people don't have to stay in it. And then for one night, you charge 250,000 naira, for people to use it. In 4 weeks, let's say you have your apartment occupied just 4 days in a month, 4 days in a month. In 1 month, you will make 1 million naira. If you multiply that by 12 months, you make 12 million naira. And and then we're talking about Christmas period where we have almost 100% occupancy, right? Now, 12 million naira, you will see already that that's times two, times two of what you would have gotten if you had put it on normal rent. And I'm not bashing, the average residential markets here. I'm just showing you what is possible. Now, let's look at how the shortlet model works. So it's simple. And it's not quite different from, the average rental income model. You buy a house, or you decide to build a house, or you could even decide to lease the house, long lease. So you could lease the house for 5 years, for more, depending on what you want to lease it for. And then you put it out for rent. But before you do that, you have to ensure that you look out for special features, because if I'm going to rent or buy a 4-bedroom duplex that I'm going to put on the property market, on the shortlet market, I'm going to look to ensure that it has a swimming pool, right? It has it's relatively new, right? There's space for parking. If it has a gym, better. If I'm going to have a 2-bedroom apartment that is going to be on the short-lived market, I'm going to be looking out for a swimming pool. So somebody wants to come and stay Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he wants to relax and work. He needs a swimming pool. He needs a gym. He needs somewhere he can just stroll and just relax. Basically, what he wants is something better than where he lives. I don't want to leave my house, go to another house, and it looks like I'm in my house. I don't want that. I want some extra features, I want some extra features. That's one. Two, now the reason why people prefer the short let apartments to hotels these days is because even with all these features that the hotels will give you still save more when you look at it. So first, you have more space. Secondly, you have a kitchen to yourself that you can cook. So let's say you are someone who likes to eat healthy, you can cook your food. Let's say you are someone let's say you don't want to spend much on feeding, you can cook your food, and eat your food, compared to the to staying in a hotel, where you pay like basically almost the same rates or even more, and then you still have to buy food and all that. Thirdly, people. Uh, so if you stay in a hotel, you have to use the laundry service because, of course, you can't go washing your clothes by yourself in a hotel. However, in the short apartment, you have a washing machine, so you can wash your clothes, you can iron your clothes. People fly into Lagos, and instead of going to hotels, they stay in a short apartment. Say they're on a work trip, they stay in a short apartment throughout the period they're in Lagos. That's the beauty of a short apartment. Now, the beautiful thing about being an investor or having a property on the short market is the fact that your property can command as much, if not more, than what the hotels command. You can command as much, if not more, than what the hotels command. Now, so you rent out per day using the hospitality model. That's why I said the hospitality model. And then you reckon up to 8 times your average house rent. When I say up to 8 times, you can reckon 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times your average rent if you had put that property on the average rental market. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you why most short-let properties do not perform. I'm going to show you why most short-let properties do not perform. First, I've said it before, most short-let properties do not perform because they do not have special attractions. Yes. So let me try and admit someone in. I don't know. I guess the room is full. Yes. So because they do not have special what? Special attractions. Let me make this full again. And sorry, I'm trying to admit people into the room. I don't think the room is full, but it seems like, okay, done that. Yeah, so first is first, they don't have special attraction, no special features. So why should I come and stay in your house instead of staying in my house? Do you have a pool? Do you have a gym? Do you have games I can play? Do you have a table tennis platform? Do you have a lawn tennis court? There must be something extra, something that I don't necessarily have in my house. Then how peaceful is it? How peaceful is it? And then there's bed bug or something, like that will be the last time I would use your apartment. Now, another one is poor marketing. Poor marketing. Now, the fact that you have a short-let apartment is not just enough. That's not enough. How do you get people to, find out that you have the short-let apartment. Now, the short-let apartment in Lagos is so big that there are lots of players, yet there are not enough short-let apartments for people. Like it's almost counterintuitive because you expect that, oh, Nigeria says we don't have money and all that, but yet there are people who still use short-let apartments. A lot of them. Basically, I like sometimes I'm just tired. I want to be away from the office. I want to be away from my house, and I go somewhere and I stay in another apartment, with better features than what my house has. Or in some cases, I just want to be away from my house and I stay there and I pay, to stay there. Now, and there are lots of ways to market your short-let apartment. That this webinar is not for that, but then poor marketing is another problem and another reason people don't, some short-let apartments don't perform. Now, poor customer service is another reason. This is tied to poor marketing, but then poor customer service. So let's look at two apartments. One, I go there today and you check me in, and there's a TV that probably is not connected to the DSTV, I see that, and you basically are not there to, take my complaints and all that. I can't easily reach you and all that. Then compared to another one that I come in everywhere, it's clean, sparkling, TV is working, there's Netflix, there's DSTV. I look at the table when I get into the house, and then there are fruits, there's a drink, or say juice, soft drinks. There are some basic things in the kitchen, salt, seasoning, and all that, just in case I need them, And I feel like I'm in my house, just that this time there are extra features added. People want to be served. People don't come from their house to stay in your short apartment because they want to feel like they're in their house. They want to be served, And this is one of the reasons why most short properties don't perform. And now we are going to be looking at the 2.94 million naira cash cow. The 2.94 million naira cash cow. Our short-let model, how you can earn at least 2,940,000 naira every year, starting from December 2022, and then by putting your property on the short-let market. But if you have questions, please just hold on. I'll take some of your questions. I'll take all your questions rather at the end of this presentation. So first of all, let's talk about the project before we talk about this how this money is going to come about, how this rental income is going to come about. So the project is called the ACES Ekpe. The ACES located in Ekpe. Let me show another document. The ACES is located in Ekpe. Now, in 2020, we acquired some acres of land in Ekpe, right? And then we sold a few plots of land there. But before we launched that property, we said we wanted to something different from the ordinary here. So the property has a gazette, which allowed us to start. But we didn't want the usual build bungalow and sell or build apartment and sell, because I've always been fascinated about good cash flow from properties. And now this was one opportunity I had to create a product that people would be able to use to generate cash flow, not just looking for products that would help people create cash flow, but creating that product. And so we looked at it and we said, fine, Ekpe is like a destination for people. Here in Ekpe, we have the Ekpe Resort and Spa, where people come to relax, most times, and then just away from the hustle and bustle of Lagos. We have the Jubilee Resort, which is owned by the government. I stay there every time I'm in Ekpe, and the Jubilee Resorts, a one-bedroom apartment there, per night is 35,000 naira, depending on the time of the year. And then, you know, I looked at it and I said, hold on, I've stayed in different hotels in Ekpe. I've seen people come into those hotels, stay in those hotels. I've seen how well occupied these hotels are, you know, and I've seen that when we compare their rates to the rates of hotels in Shongotedo, Aja, they are almost the same thing or more. So I've stayed in a one-bedroom apartment, living room, visitors toilets, you know, in Ekpe at Jubilee Resort, and I paid 35,000 naira a night. It's already higher than a hotel here in Shongotedo. I've stayed in a one-room hotel in Ekpe that rents for 15,000 naira per night. I won't stay there again. I've stayed in a one-room hotel in Ekpe that were renting for 25,000 naira per night, one room, you know. And just last weekend, I was in Ekpe. Sorry, not last weekend, on Tuesday, you know, for the Salah celebrations. I went to my friend's house and we went to a hotel, beautiful hotel, Lekki standard, you know, and their rate per night was 35,000 naira down there in Ekpe, one room, you know, the usual hotel, 35,000 naira. And guess what? This hotel was 100% occupied. Yes, I understand that it was because of the Salah celebrations, but that is what it is. It was occupied 100%. And then we started looking for other hotels that would stay in. Guess what? All the hotels, down to the ones at the Ekpe Jebode boundary, all the hotels, even the 10,000 naira hotels, all of them were 100% booked. So before now, I was telling myself that, okay, you know, I think 40% occupancy per year, you know, per month, with translations per year, it's just okay for hospitality in Ekpe, until I saw that for just the Salah celebrations, it was booked 100%. And then I started to think of the peak periods, you know, what would happen during peak periods, you know, what happens during other periods. If they get 100% now, it means that they'll be getting 60%, 50% at other times. Now, that is the hotel markets. I actually jumped to the gun and then, you know, explain this. But let's look at the ACEs. So the ACEs is a collection of holiday-styled two-bedroom terraced bungalows, and it's located in Ekpe. I call it the fast-developing, serene town of Ekpe. Now, the idea behind this project was to build a community, a private community, where people can own homes, which they can either use to live. So you can decide and say, okay, you know what? I want this place to be my regular residential home, and you can live here. Another thing you can do is you can own it as a holiday home. So you can say, well, you know what? I don't want to live here. I don't live in Nigeria. However, I want somewhere I can come when I come back to Lagos, when I come back to Nigeria, there's somewhere that is safe, serene, and has all the features I need, you know, to feel like I'm on a holiday. That's the second reason, you know, we created it. And then the third reason is for people who want investments, you know, assets that can yield insanely good returns. And I'm going to show you on this webinar. So because we wanted to achieve that quiet and serenity, the first thing we said, first, we have to achieve 24 hours power supply. So for us to achieve 24 hours power supply, we decided, okay, you know what? We are going to be bringing in a dedicated transformer into this place. We are also going to be bringing in 2 standby soundproof diesel generators, 250 kVA each. Now, we thought of using solar, but then we thought of maintenance, you know, each unit, you know, what happens when you want to use your refrigerator, you know, what happens when you want to use your iron, and we said, you know what, let's stick with soundproof diesel generators, you know, and then we said, okay, you know what, there has to be treated water. This place has to look good. So we are going to be introducing well-paved roads and covered drainages. Now, to further give that holiday living experience that we want you to have, we decided to construct an entire area which we call the space. Now, the space is more like a recreational area. It's going to be having a swimming pool. It's going to be having a gym, a well-equipped gym. It's going to be having an outdoor bar where you can sit down in the evening and relax, probably, sip uh, on a glass of whatever you want to sip on. We are going to have a lawn tennis court. So let's say you are there with your friends and you guys want to, swing the bats. Yes, you can do that. And then we are going to have an indoor game house. So let's say you're not the outdoor sports kind of person, but say you want to play chess, you want to play table tennis, you want to play snooker, you want to play ayo, darts, and all that. There's going to be a space, an indoor game house that's where you can do all that. And then we are going to have a green area where you can just sit and enjoy the scenery. Now, to ensure that this estate is well lit and secure, we'll be providing, first of all, 24 hours security personnel, at the gates, at strategic areas within the estates. And then we are also going to be providing, this technology that you can use to check in visitors, so that we ensure that, first of all, nobody comes in with a contraband equipment, guns or anything. Yes. And then we're also going to install CCTV surveillance cameras, around the estate, so that we can stay at the security house and see what's happening around the estate. And then there will be solar street lights. So it means that the whole place is going to be lit, 247. It's either with daylight or with the solar street lights at night. Now, let me scroll. Yeah, so within the space, the space is a 1,000 square meter, parcel of land. Within that space, there's also going to be a mini mart. So let's say you want to buy stuff, you come in, you want to cook, and then you don't want to go to the market, you could grab groceries, toothpaste, whatever you want to grab at the mini mart. And then there's going to be a pharmacy, who knows, you might be feeling a little bit under the weather, and you want to grab some pain relief. There's going to be a pharmacy within the space. And we have it all designed on the 1,000 square meter, parcel of land. Now, there is one thing I've noticed that most short-let apartments do not have. In fact, even estates do not have it. And if that one service is put in place, it's going to increase it's going to improve the living experience of the people who are within that space. And also, it's also going to increase the value that you'll be providing. And that's an errand service. And we have decided to introduce an errand service. So you are in Ekpe, you are in, your 2-bedroom apartment, you're watching, a movie, you're seeing a movie, and you decide that you want fresh fish pepper soup, and the fish has to come from the Ekpe fish market. But now the question is, how do you drive out of the estate, go to the fish market, buy the fish, come back and cook it? All that stress for someone who wants to feel like they're on a holiday. The solution to this is our errand service. So instead of doing that by yourself, all you have to do is contact someone at the facility management, house, and then this person comes to your apartment, listens to you, takes whatever you want to buy, goes to the market, gets it done for you, bring it to your house and deliver it. So basically, when you are there for a holiday. You are not going to be doing anything yourself if you don't want to. There's an errand service for you 247. There's an errand service for you. Now, we pride ourselves with saying that at the ACES, we are building a community where you can live, you can relax, and you can earn. I've talked about the different things you can do at the ACES: jump in the pool, work out at the gym, let my slide move, swing a tennis racket, play some indoor games and all that. Now, let me go back to my slides. I hope you've been getting value so far. I hope you've been getting value so far. Let me go back to my slide. Now, some people have asked us, why Ekpe? Why Ekpe? And then I tell them, why not? Why not Ekpe? But then I've listed some reasons, that, okay, sorry, let me just do this. So the back was why Ekpe, and I said, why not? And I've listed some reasons that why we chose Ekpe. One, Ekpe is the fastest developing local government in Lagos State. First of all thanks to the former governor of Lagos State, Governor Ambode. He came in and turned this place, around. First of all, some years ago, we used to drive through Ekpe. It was muddy, and in as much as it was well positioned, leading into Lagos and out of Lagos, they didn't pay attention to it. But he came in, he fixed all the roads, and then investments there coming into Ekpe. So Ekpe is the fastest developing local government in Lagos. Just recently, the government commissioned some new establishments in Ekpe, the maternity hospital and a few other things. Then you think about it, the government came to Ekpe and then located their Jubilee Resort there. And that's a money spinner for them. Why did they do that? They didn't do that until somebody had fixed, had constructed the roads in the whole of Ekpe. Now, there's an Alaro city that has come there to stay, because it's fast developing. And the roads leading to Ekpe 2 years ago used to be very bad. It used to be very bad. But right now, the Lagos State government, the current government, has commissioned the road leading from Ibejleki down to Ekpe, and from Ibejleki down to Ibrahim Adesanya. So the first phase of the project started in December 2020, and by second quarter next year, thereabout, they should commission that road. So it means that it will be, if it takes you 1 hour from Shangote Road to get to Ekpe now, at that time, it's going to take you, say, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, because it's going to be faster. And guess what? They are now going to start the construction from Eleko down to Ibrahim Adesanya. So from Ajah to Ekpe is going to take probably half the time it currently takes. And so what better way to position yourself than owning a money spinner within that town? Now, there's also increased migration, in Ekpe. First things first, the schools are beginning to send in more students. I know that Yaba Tech sent in about 12,000 students down to their Ekpe campus last year, because I got that information from a friend of mine who, works at Yaba Tech. And then we are beginning to see more real estate companies springing up within Ekpe, new projects coming up, and basically, one other thing you would use to judge, what the migration is like, is when you see more banks coming up. So some years ago, you could count the number of banks in Ekpe, but now GTB, Access Bank, Eco Bank, Providus, FCMB, UBA, all of them, they're all going into Ekpe, and that shows you that there's a market to serve. There's a market to serve. So there's increased migration. I've talked about better access roads within and around Ekpe. Just recently, the Ogun State government commissioned the road leading from Ijebode down to Ekpe. They've been working on it for some time now, and then they put toll gates there. So basically, you should understand, the kind of development that is coming to that location. Then Ekpe is the obvious less expensive option. Is the obvious less expensive option. If you want to buy a 2-bedroom apartment in, say, Ikate, you are going to be spending close to 50, 60 million naira. If you want to buy a 2-bedroom apartment in Ajah, you're going to spend about 30 something, 35, 32 million naira, you know. And then when you consider your rental income per day in those areas, you are going to see that it's still going to be around the neighborhood of 60,000 naira, 70,000 naira, you know, per night. However, in Ekpe, a 2-bedroom apartment will go for about half that price. And you can still charge about 40,000 naira, you know, for a 2-bedroom apartment, for a short-let apartment in Ekpe. So Ekpe is the obviously less expensive option. It's a no-brainer. So coupled with the fact that people are coming, one, two, the development is coming, it just makes, you know, sense, you know, if you have to choose between, should I put it in Ekpe or should I put it in Lekki phase 1? Should I put it in Ekpe or should I put it in Ikate? Do I have the money to put it in Ikate, or would I have to wait? If I have to wait, you know, then I should find a way to put it in Ekpe. And I'm going to show you, you know, in the course of this webinar, how we intend to bring in more people to use these apartments at the ACs. Just stay tuned. So Ekpe is also quiet, you know, and free from the usual Lagos hustle and bustle. You know, Ekpe is attracting more investors. I've talked about this already. And I also said that both the Lagos and Ogun State governments have, sorry for the distraction, someone just typed in the chat. Stanley, please, can you wait until the end of this webinar to ask your questions, or probably, you know, send them to me privately, you know, don't, so you don't disturb this webinar. All right, so both the Lagos and the Ogun State government have been paying attention to the development of Ekpe. I've said it before, and I've explained how that is happening. Now, I explained the Ekpe hotel market and how they had 100% occupancy on Tuesday, and I guess it's happened again on Wednesday, and how they get people using their hotels. But now let's look at the Ekpe rental market versus the Ekpe hospitality market. The average 2-bedroom apartment in Ekpe is your average 2-bedroom apartment in any developing town. 2 bedrooms, living room, kitchen, toilet and bathroom, and it commands, like, say, 350,000 naira, no, 400,000 naira per year, because, you know, today I saw a 1-bedroom apartment that commands 350,000 naira in Ekpe. So 400,000 naira per year. Now, let's say you add a few features, a few more features, you should be getting, like, say, 450,000 naira, 500,000 naira, which I've seen, you know, per year. That's the Ekpe average rental market. So if you decide, I mean, you know what, I'm going to get a unit at the ACs, but guess what? I'm going to put it on the Ekpe, on the normal rental market. It's totally your choice. However, you have to look at what you might be getting, you know, in rental income. Now, let's look at the hospitality market. First things first. The biggest problem with the hospitality market in Ekpe is at marketing and customer service. So nobody in Ekpe is doing any serious crazy marketing to get people to use their hotels. So all you just do is search for a hotel in Ekpe on Google when you get there, and they give you the different options, or you use your Google map and then they lead you to one, or you just drive and then you find it. So nobody's doing any serious marketing, that's one. Yet, they get people to use these places. Two, their customer service is average. You know, there's no over-the-top customer service, you know, for the hotels in Ekpe. That's two. Three, so these hotels do not go out of their way to make your experience awesome. So for instance, the road leading to your hotel is not fixed, and you leave it like that. There are no street lights, and you expect people to come to your hotel. Guess what? people still come. You know why? Because I have gone to a hotel where the road was dark, it was night, the road was not good, it was the muddy road, inside those streets, and then there was no street light, and yet we found our way to that hotel. So these are some of the little issues. So now ask yourself, what happens when a competitor or a new establishment comes, does a whole lot better at marketing, management is superb, customer service is excellent, and they try to make the experience for the customers, for the users, perfect. They correct all the mistakes that the hospitality players in Ekpe right now are making. Guess what would happen? First things first, that player is going to take, most of their customers. That's one. Now, imagine you add it up with some, features that these hotels have and more. You are going to draw all of them to you. And basically, when you look at the Ekpe hospitality market, a room in Ekpe, goes for, say, minimum 15,000 naira, and then maximum, say, around, say, 30,000 naira. But if it's a one-bedroom apartment, like I stayed at Jubilee Resort, you are looking at 35,000 naira. Now, imagine that they had just a 40% occupancy per month, 40% occupancy per month. And that is at, what do we call it now, with all their no marketing and everything, 40%, that's 12 days in a month. Do the maths. How much do you think they'll be earning? While you're thinking of that, let me, show you our shortlet marketing strategy. So you see, we have told you that you can use your apartment at the ACES, an apartment at the ACES for your regular residential home. You can live in it. You can use it for a holiday home. So you can lock it up, travel, whenever you're on holiday, you come there and stay. Or you can use it for both your holiday home and an investment. So when you're around, you stay in the apartment, clean, perfect. You enjoy all the facilities. However, when you're away, the apartment is making money for you. But the question you'll be asking yourself now is, how do I get people to use my apartment? How do I bring people? Am I going to be stressing myself, bringing people into these apartments? And the question is no. You know why? Because we have created a marketing strategy, and we are going to be having a dedicated marketing team that's going to be doing this for you. Now, I don't think I'll want to put our whole marketing strategy out there, to the world, but I'm just going to show you a few things that we are going to do to ensure that you get, the projected occupancy rates that we are promising. Now, first things first. First thing we are going to do is that we are going to rehabilitate the inner roads leading to the ACES, and fix street light, because of course, access is everything. So we can decide to pave the roads within the estates, cover the drainages, put street lights and everything. However, if the road directly leading as the first set of obvious customers that we can get are people who already use these services. So why should we first go and start looking for new people when we can first start to convert, the customers from other hotels and resorts? Now, how are we going to do this? I'm sorry, I'm not going to be saying this here, but trust me, it's going to be some very serious guerrilla marketing strategy that we're going to put in place. Now, another thing we have decided to do is we are going to offer 50% discount for the first 6 months upon inception to bring in new people. Now, imagine, think about it. You can get a 2-bedroom apartment with a washing machine and everything. You know, you can cook your food, and you are paying less than what you would pay at a hotel, less than what you pay at a 1-bedroom apartment, less than what you would pay anywhere else in Ekpe. And then you come in there, you know, you see that they have a swimming pool, they have a gym, they have, you know, an outdoor bar. The place is cozy, it's inviting. Are you telling me you would want to go spend more outside, or you want to be here? Trust me, I know the answer already. They would want to be here. Then we are going to build a 5,000 user database using offline and online lead generation strategies. So people come to use our apartments, they would give us their contacts. We are going to be running online, you know, ads that are going to also generate leads, you know, for people, for us to have more people on our database who we can invite to this place. Now we are going to have over the top customer service, because this is one thing that kills the Charlotte market. Over the top customer service. So you walk into the apartment and then you see in the living room, you know, there's free fruits, there's beverage, you know, there are free drinks in the fridge, there's Netflix subscription on the TV, there's DSTV subscription. You just basically came to relax. You just basically came to relax. And all this is going to go into the cost of marketing. Then there's free breakfast. Then we also understand that there are going to be times when there will be downtime. So June, July, you know, when there's nothing happening, what are we going to do? We are going to give special discounts to companies for their staff retreats. You know, so why should you go outside of Lagos? Why should you go to some other, you know, place in Lagos when you can come here and have special discounts and then have basically a better treat than you would get if you had gone somewhere else? So we are going to have people come down here, you know, as a group. Then we're going to have regular discounts. So they are like I said, downtimes. We are going to have regular promos and discounts. You know, book 2 nights and get 1 night free. Basically, what we are trying to achieve is our target occupancy rate, which I will show you very soon. Our target occupancy rate, you know. And then we are going to organize regular events for couples, you know, and the likes that will bring them down there to use these apartments. Now, I want to show you the 5-year income plan. I want to show you the 5-year income plan. Let me go straight to my Google Sheet so I can show this to you. Oh, wow. I really hope I'll be able to show this without troubles today. Okay. All right. Yes. The 5-year income plan. Now, what we have done rather, what I and my team have done is that we have looked at from the commissioning in December 2022, which is about 18 months from now. What income look like if you own a 2-bedroom apartment at the ACES? So what we did was, first, I talked about the 50% discount we are going to give upon inception, right? And I said we are going to give 50% discount. So our rates per night, our regular rates per night is going to be 40,000 naira. Regular rates per night is going to be 40,000 naira. That's it there in yellow. 40,000 naira, right? And when we compare that with what is in the market, it's quite competitive, because if a 1-bedroom apartment would go for 35,000 naira in most cases, some hotel rooms will go for 35,000 naira, And what we are giving here is a private experience at a little, just 5,000 naira extra. It's a no-brainer. But guess what? We will not introduce that 40,000 naira until you have tasted of the goodness, of the ACES apartment. So first of all, we'll give a 50% discount from December 2022, which means that there are people are going to be paying 20,000 naira per night, just for us to get more people in and build our database. And then our targeted occupancy is 40% per month. Yes, some people will say, oh, 40% is low. Yes, we are trying to play with worst case, what's going to be easy to do. So if we surpass these numbers, awesome. But 40% occupancy, that's 12 days out of 30 days, your apartment is going to be occupied. So what it means is that first things first, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in 1 week, if you multiply by 4, it gives us 12 already. Some people will come in on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and still stay till Sunday, right? And it still gives us that is, of course, at your discretion. You are not going to be doing the management. We are going to be doing that for you. So you won't be bothering yourself with anything, basically. You'll be bothering yourself with anything. All you are going to be doing is, I own the apartment, I'm going to get my money. So all the customer service, foods, drinks, marketing, ads, and everything is going to go to marketing and management. And management fees and marketing per month sits at 25% of your income. So that's 60,000 naira, right? Now let's pick electricity and water per month. Now, remember, you own the apartment. So if you own the apartment and you didn't put it on, the rental market, right? You are not going to use electricity. You are not going to use water. However, there are some base costs, that will still come to you. And if you put someone there, they'll be paying the electricity and water. But guess what? When your apartment is on the short-let market, the payment for the electricity and water is going to be coming from the revenue that you get. We peg that 15,000 naira per month because basically, from experience, how much electricity are these people going to be using? They are not going to be using heavy equipment and all that. Then we peg service charge. So service charge is for cleaning the common areas in the estate, security, errand service and all that. It's pegged at 10,000 naira per month. So you would see that by the time we that's going to be constant for December, January, February, March, April, May. Then somewhere in June, we increase the cost to 40,000 naira per night. 40,000 naira per night. Now we thought to ourselves, oh, why not reduce the number of days per month that people are going to be using? And we said, no. So this period, June, July, August, September, is that period where we are going to be having those promos, book 2 nights and get 1 free. We are going to be discussing with companies that are going to come in for their mid-year retreats, and we are going to be giving them some promos as well. So if they are going to take 2 rooms, they can get 1 free and then things like that. So basically, the target is to still achieve 40% occupancy, 12 days in a month. So all our promos, all our discounts, all our promotions, everything is going to be is going to be centered around getting 12 days per month. Now, we take it like that till November 2023. You find out that at the end of the day, at the end of the first year, total revenue in the first year is going to be 4,300,000 320,000 naira. And then your total cost per year, marketing and management fees, electricity and water, service charge, everything is going to be 1,380,000 naira per year. So your net revenue, that's your revenue after we have removed your costs, which of course you know did not come from your pocket, is going to be 2,940,000 naira at the end of the first year. Now let's look at the second year. Second year, we are no longer, running the 50% discounts. However, there are periods where we are going to be running, promos. So you can see here that first of all, we increased our occupancy to 15 days in a month. That's basically 50% occupancy, and this is possible because we have run 1 year of operations. We have a huge database of users and intending users. We have done a lot of marketing, so they are going to be return users, people who are going to come back to use the place by themselves. Then we are still going to be marketing to bring in more people, right? Now, what happens here is we are going to be charging 40,000 naira a month. However, you will see that months like February, we brought down the price to 30,000 naira per night. 30,000 naira per night, because February is like the month of Valentine. We are going to be having special discounts for more than just that Valentine period. So throughout the month of February, we are going to be having special, promos. And then we also have June, July, August, where we are going to be having special promos, because of course there's going to be downtime within this period. So we are going to be having companies coming here, because that's the same period where companies use when companies have their company retreats. So we are going to give them better prices, better packages, just for them to come use it. Now you see that the price goes back up in September, October, November, because of course we're now talking about independence, where people travel just to rest and all that. So basically, this is what the sheet looks like, for the second year. You see that the marketing and management fees stays at 25%, stays constant at 25%. Electricity and water stays constant at 15,000 naira. Service charge goes up to 15,000 naira. So we are going to have more users. It means that we need more hands, to keep the place the way we want it to be. So your total revenue at the end of the second year, sorry, this is a mistake. At the end of the second year, is going to be 6.6 million naira gross revenue, gross revenue. And total cost at the end of that second year is going to be 2,010,000 naira. So higher revenue, higher cost. But guess what? Your net revenue is going to be 4,590,000 naira. And I'm showing you exactly how we are going to achieve that. So it means that your revenue in the second year is higher than the revenue in the first year by 1,650,000 naira. Right? Now, let's look at the third year, the fourth year, the fifth year. In the third year, the rate stays at 40,000 naira. We maintain our peak periods when we have 30,000 naira discounts and all that. We maintain occupancy at 15 days per month, which is 50% occupancy. We don't change it, And then you see that management fees still stays at 25%. Electricity stays at 15,000 naira. Electricity and water service charge stays at 15,000 naira. Now we have, so total revenue is exactly what we got in the first year, 6.6 million naira. Total revenue in the third year is the same as total revenue in the second year, 6.6 million naira. However, we added renovations and paint and then repainting. So I told you that to ensure that your solid apartment, your apartment rents highly on the market, you have to introduce this, newness all the time. So in the third year, we are going to be painting the apartments, touching a few places to ensure that when people come, they don't come and see a building that, the door handle is, this one happening, the paint is peeling or things like that, right? So we added 200,000 naira for your renovation. That brings your total cost per year to 2,210,000 naira, and your net revenue in the third year is 4,390,000 naira, which is 200,000 naira lower than what you got in the third year. In the fourth year, it bounces back to 4.59 million. In the fifth year, it stays at 4.59 million, which is the same thing that we had in the second year. And you'll see that your total rental income in 5 years, is going to be 21,100,000 naira. Now, this number in practice, this number could be a lot higher, because we have tried to keep some numbers constant here. It could be a lot higher, and in the worst case, it could be slightly lower, because we have tried to look at what's the worst that can happen. And then, we won't be able to hit this number. So this is basically what you can earn in 5 years. This is the 5-year rental income plan, 21,100,000 naira in 5 years. And I'm going to show you that this number is already higher than what you would pay to acquire 1 unit at the ACs. And tell me, where else can you buy an apartment where you will make back your money in 5 years and make profits? Let me go back to the presentation. I hope I'm not losing people here. I hope I'm not losing anyone here. Let's go back to the presentation. Okay. So that is the 5-year income plan. Now, let's look at how to get in. Now, a 2-bedroom terrace bungalow at the Nook, at the ACs rather, sorry, I made a mistake there. At the ACs is currently selling for 13.5 million naira. Sorry, I'm trying to get back my brochure. Yes. Okay. Just a second, guys. Okay, yes, I have gotten it. It's currently selling for 13.5 million naira. Now, that's the current price as at today. And then these 2-bedroom bungalows are fully finished, fully finished 2-bedroom bungalows. Each of them come with parking space for 2 cars, an open plan fitted kitchen, 2-bedroom. All the both rooms are all en suites with water heaters and wardrobes. The entire ceiling everywhere is going to be fitted with POP. There's a dining area. There's a spacious, terrace in front. Or if you want, you can call it the balcony. There's a backyard area. There's a visitor's toilet. There's a lobby, between the living room and the rooms. And then that's basically what you have. So it's spacious. Everyone says it's spacious. Now, we have 60 units. We are going to be constructing 60 units of these apartments, each one going for 13.5 million naira. And this 13.5 million naira covers both the cost of the building itself and the facilities, the swimming pool, the gym, and the rest of them. However, there's going to be an extra cost for infrastructure, which is in the FAQ document. It will be sent to you after this webinar. Now, what we've done is, because we want people to be able to own these units and spread payments, we have introduced a 0-interest 12-month payment plan. A 0-interest 12-month payment plan. So with a deposit of 1.5 million naira, the deposit of 1.5 million naira, you can get in today and secure a unit for yourself. And then you can spread the balance of 12 million naira for 12 months. So you pay 1.5 million naira deposit, spread the balance for 12 months. And that is exactly how you can get in. Now, these are some of the pictures from the units that we've completed already. You can see that this is one of the bedrooms. This is the wardrobe. This is the living room. This is the dining. That area you can see there is the kitchen. This is the front. Um, yes, it comes with all these lights as well. This is the bathroom. We are trying to change the structure of the bathroom so that we can have these bath cubicles instead of just having the baths open like that. Then this is the kitchen. Yeah, dining and kitchen, living room. It doesn't come fully furnished, you know. It comes fully finished so that we don't get that confused. I'm trying to so that my laptop doesn't go off. It comes fully finished, not fully furnished. Now, I'm going to be giving you an offer, you know, very soon. That's going to that is basically for people who are on today's webinar. Basically for people who are on today's webinar. Let me just quickly go back to that presentation. Yeah, back to that presentation. Before I talk about that, before I talk about the offer, let me just quickly explain something. So another thing, you know, so at the beginning of this webinar, I explained that what we really want is for people to be able to, you know, create cash flow and earn rental income, experience the freedom of having cash flow. So besides you being able to own this property as a whole, we have also introduced a co-ownership model. So I don't have 13.5 million naira, right? But I still want to earn this income. We have introduced a model that allows you own a part of one unit. So this model comes with the whole apartment. It's going to be coming fully furnished, you know, because it's not one person buying it. If you're interested in this model, what we have done is we have divided the total cost of owning one unit into 5. And so 5 people can own one part each and earn rental income. Trust me, or rather, guess what now? You know, it's basically like the rental income is going to be the same. And in 5 years, you are going to make back your money and make profit. If you're interested in this model, just send a message to info@symbolicdevelopment.com and we'll explain this model to you. It's for a different set of people, you know. But if you want to enjoy the whole rental income to yourself, then you should be buying the whole unit. So I'm not going to be explaining the co-ownership model so much. Now, let me explain the special offer that I talked about. Within the next 5 days, or my guy said, yes, 5 days. That's by the 27th of July. We are going to be allowing everyone who is on this webinar. First, we are going to be giving you a 500K discount. And this 500K discount, of course, is going to be going from our profits, but we are going to be giving you a 500,000 naira discount when you make a deposit. So instead of paying 13.5 million naira in 12 months, you'll be paying 13 million naira in 12 months. Then we also have an ongoing promo that allows you that sees you getting a free sofa when you make a deposit, you know, before the end of this month. So not only will you be getting your 500K discount for being on this webinar, you are going to also get the normal promo of a free sofa that is currently ongoing. So one free sofa for paying this month and 500K off for paying before the 27th of July. That's like a double promo. I don't think anyone would give this to you anywhere. So now the question is, what next? What are you going to be doing with this information that I have shared to you? Are you just going to look at it and let it fly? Or are you going to seize it, run with it, and take advantage of this special offer that I've given for anyone who makes a deposit before the 27th of July. Right now, the choice is yours. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. My name is Olisa Omira, and I am your cash flow loving real estate developer. Thank you very much. If you have questions now, please type them in the chat section and I'll answer them one after the other. Yes, it would be nice to see the new bathroom plan. Sure. What we're going to do is we are going to get an architect to design the 3D and then we'll make that available. We could send that to your email or replace that in the brochure so that you see the updated bathroom plan. Another thing you can do. So he said, I'm not keen on the present shower. Another thing you can do is, suggest what you want in your apartment, and then we would, install that in your apartment, provided it doesn't go, far away from our cost of construction. Yeah, so the 3D of the bathroom plans will be sent to you, and then we'll probably check out a few other styles of bathroom showers, so that they can appeal better.
Hi, Alyssa. Sorry, I just think it's better to speak rather than type. So it's not really a major, everything looks great, to be honest. It's just that it's preferable for it to be enclosed rather than, it just looks like if you're trying to have a shower.
Or when exactly would the rental income commence if you buy into the offer right now? So the marketing for the short-let apartments, marketing, and all that is going to start in July 2022. So it means that we'll start teasing people, letting them know that something is coming, so that when we launch, it won't be new to them. However, we are going to commission the project or we are going to finally, launch the apartments in December 2022. So that does not mean that you will wait till December 2022 for your unit to be completed. No, your unit will be completed before, then. In fact, your units can be completed 4 months in 4 months, right? So your units are going to be completed, handed over to you, but all the facilities, swimming pool, gym, everything is going to be ready by December 2022, and that's when we are going to launch the rental income part of the project. I hope that answers your question, Grace Divine. Other questions, please. I want to assume the presentation was explanatory enough, and that's why we don't have so many questions. And
someone's
about to ask a question encouraging. I'm just going to give 2 more minutes for anyone who has questions to ask their questions, and then we are going to end today's session. You are going to get details on the FAQ documents in your mail, and then once we have the 3D pictures of, yes, you can ask the questions, please. Once you have your 3D pictures of the new bathroom, we are going to send it. So we build the hall plus audio visuals for retreats at one-stop place for companies. So the indoor game house, our plan is to ensure that it can be used for both indoor games, and then it can be converted to a hall, right? So you can use for indoor game, and then you can convert it to a hall. So when there's no event, it's a hall. Oh, yes, sorry, when there's an event, it's a hall. When there's no event, you use it for indoor games. So yes, it's going to be convertible. Yes, we are going to have that one-stop place for companies retreats. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Yomi. Yes, all the bedrooms are in suites. Yes. He asked, do the bedrooms are the bedrooms in suites? Yes, all the bedrooms are in suites. Yes, so that answers your question, I guess. Oh, okay. He says that's not shown on the demo. I think it's probably the angles. They didn't snap this bedroom with its bathroom and toilet, and that bedroom with its bathroom and toilet. Yes, but both of them are in suites. We can also send the link to the video we made showing the different parts of the. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Yoyin. We would include the both bathrooms so that, yes, it just might help us increase sales. Probably some people actually think that it's one bathroom that we have. Okay, someone asked, are there other payment options or plans? No, for now, we just have the 12-month payment plan, 1.5 deposit spread balance for 12 months. That's the only payment plan we have for now. I guess that answers your question. Okay, so it says he thinks it would be better space-wise to have the wardrobe inbuilt. Yes, we actually thought of that, but if we are going to be doing that, then we are going to be playing with the walls, and so it's more about the look and feel, to us. We don't want it to look like the regular apartment. We don't also want it to, we want it to be able to change, the look of your apartment when you want. But when the wardrobe is fixed in one place, there's nothing you can do. Wardrobe is there, wardrobe is there. It's in the wall, it's in the wall. You can't change it unless you have to start breaking, stuff. But when you can move it, you can say, okay, today I want my wardrobe to be here, and tomorrow I want it to be here. It's your business. That's why we don't have it inbuilt. So waiting for other questions, please, and comments, suggestions, anything you have to say. Yes, so the recording of the webinar will be sent to you via email, and then if you're in a WhatsApp group, you are going to have it. So for company retreats, will you build hall and provide audio visuals for training? So company can have both accommodation and training hall at the same place. I answered this question before. I said the indoor game house is going to serve a dual purpose. It will be converted to a hall, when there is need for that. And then it can serve as an indoor game house when there is no event. So yes, it's going to have the audio visuals, it's going to have all that, and it's basically going to be prepared to be used accommodation and training hall at the same place. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Olisa, good evening.
Any other questions? You're welcome, sir.
Hello, Mr. Olisa.
Thank you, Grace Divine. She says it's a nice presentation.
So,
hello.
So she says there can be a seminar hall different from a leisure hall for relaxation. Yes, so we are trying to ensure that the space is not overstretched. Like we're trying to ensure that the space is not overstretched. But what we will do is we will look at the space and see if we can have it separately. Means that the indoor game house is going to be smaller than we planned for it to be, and then we are going to have a seminar hall. If we don't do that, we are going to have it together so that we don't have the space is not choked. Another idea, if not already considered, is to have internet access. Yes, we have considered it. The only thing that would happen is that if we have internet access, like internet installed in the entire community, it will have to be paid for. Yes, so we don't have it right now on our plan because, of course, it's going to attract an extra cost. But what we'll do is when all the units are acquired, when people have committed to all the units, we'll bring it as an idea to owners of these units, and then if you want it, why not? We'll install it, we'll put it, at a little extra cost, maybe 150,000 naira extra, who knows? So that we can have, broadband installed in the estate so that you don't have to come in with your internet, there's internet for you. I'll write that down. Okay, Mr. Ajibola says he would like to have the slides or the synopsis, okay? Yes, you will have an access to the replacer. We'll send the link. We'll send the link of this presentation to you so that you can go over it. By tomorrow morning, the link to this presentation would be in your email. I hope we have your email address. If we don't, please, can you kindly drop it for us here so that some of my team members will take note of it. And our email address, yes. Yes, we can send that to you. Can someone please send, drop our email address, or let me just drop it immediately if nobody's typing. Or you can send me a private email Let me drop my own email address as well. You can send me a personal email, olisa@symbolicdevelopment.com, and I can answer your questions personally. King says, thoughtful and insightful, Mr. Lisa. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So please, if you have any other questions at all, send your questions to info@symbolicdevelopment.com. It's in the chat section, info@symbolicdevelopment.com. Symbolic is with an X. Or you can also, while sending it, you can copy Olisa, OLISA @symbolicdevelopment.com. It's in the chat section. So check the chat section for company email address and my personal email address, and would respond to you immediately we get your question. Thank you very much for staying till the end, and I hope I've been able to add to your wealth of knowledge this evening, and I look forward to welcoming you as one of the investors and house owners at the ACES. All right, guys, till I get your mail or till we get the opportunity to speak, for now, it will be good night. I really need to have a rest. Thank you very much, guys.